Hey team, welcome to another Bullpen Bulletin with Coach Hart and Building Better Baseball. Are your players afraid of the ball? Are they afraid of getting hit when they're hitting? Or do they move out of the way when they field a ball? Today we're going to go through some strategies that you can take your players through to help with the fear of getting hit by a ball. And remember, I'm Coach Hart. This is Building Better Baseball, the best place for baseball education. So let's get into these strategies. So the first thing we're going to talk about is when they are in the box and they are hitting. Let's say that they're in the box and the ball is on the outside corner, but they're still kind of jumping away. All right. So the whole theme is that they are not being prepared to hit. They're not preparing to hit the ball because they are afraid of getting hit by the ball. And the first thing I want to say is that it is a common thing. You can't necessarily tell a player to not be afraid of the ball because, it is a reality that you might get hit. And that's just the reality of baseball. Just like any other sport, there are injuries or things that hurt can occur, right? I think that's the first thing is that we shouldn't tell our players to not be afraid because they are afraid, right? You can't tell someone how to feel, right? But I think that we can better prepare our players to be hit so that they are not as afraid of the ball as possible, right? So the first thing with hitting, I would say to teach them how to get hit, all right, if that makes sense. Teach them how to get hit, all right? So when they are in the box, right, and they are jumping away from the ball, right? They're jumping away like this, and they may be turning their body like this, all right? That might increase their fear because they don't want to get hit in the front of the body, which probably hurts more than the back of the body, right? But we have to teach our players how to properly get hit, right? So when you're in the box, we have to teach them to turn away from the ball. All right, and the reason that we turn away from the ball is that if you get hit, which, like I said, is a possibility, if you get hit, you want to get hit in the back or the big muscles in your legs, in your lower area. That is a much better place to get hit because it doesn't hurt as much. So if you turn back like this, you would get hit in the shoulder or even the back of the helmet, right? Obviously that would not be good, but the back of your helmet goes down here, right? So if you come here and you kind of crunch up like this, right, you're kind of protecting your face, you're protecting your neck because the helmet's there as well. So when you have a player who is really jumping away from the ball, do they know how to get hit? Do they know how to turn away from the ball so that if they get hit in the places that you want to get hit on the body? That's the first thing we need to teach them is how to get hit by the ball. So as I said, you're here and you're turning away, kind of crunching up like this because your helmet is protecting and your shoulder's protecting your neck area. And if you get hit, you want to get hit in this backside area rather than turning away like this, exposing your face, exposing your front side and everything like that. All right, so that's the first thing is just teach them how to get hit. That will give them more confidence in the batter's box and prepare them for an inside pitch or even a pitch that's coming at them. They know how to protect themselves as much as possible. And the second thing is I would say just practice. Just with everything, practice, right? Maybe use some wiffle balls or some really soft, as a PE teacher, I have yarn balls, like fleece balls. You could literally do that and just throw inside pitches and have them practice turning away. And if the ball actually hits them, it doesn't hurt, right? So I think just practice and repetition of just kind of throwing inside pitches or maybe even intentionally hitting them with the soft ball, right? So because obviously it doesn't hurt. A yarn ball or a wiffle ball doesn't hurt, right? You're not going to be throwing it 100 miles an hour. You're just going to be kind of tossing it in. So they practice turning away from the ball and then going on top of that. So once they have that turning and that proper motion of getting hit or turning away from the ball, you can then add in some pitches, right? So let's say that you have a wiffle ball or you have a ball that they can hit, right? You're going to be kind of tossing it in or maybe even front toss in front of a screen where you're tossing inside pitches, maybe hitting them one time because it doesn't hurt, remember? You're hitting them one time and then you throw a strike, right? So that practice would look like this. They would be here, inside pitch, turn away. Inside pitch, oh, it hit me. It didn't hurt, right? Inside pitch, turn away. Oh, strike, hit. right? So you can do those things. That's kind of how you build up that confidence of like, okay, now when I get into the box, I know what to do and I am more prepared and I have more confidence in the fact that if I see an inside pitch, I know what to do and I know how to protect my body. All right, so I would say that's the first thing is teach them how to get hit or how to turn their body away from the ball. That gives them confidence. And then for practice, you throw inside pitches using soft balls or like wiffle balls, maybe even the small wiffle balls, like the golf wiffle balls. You just throw inside pitches, maybe hit them a couple times, see how it feels, right? Okay, like that, like hit me there, I'm turning away, I know how to do that. Oh, strike, boom. And then you just kind of go back and forth, right? Inside strike, right? And that's kind of how you build up that confidence of like, okay, now I'm not as afraid of the ball as I was because I know what to do if I see an inside pitch and it's going to hit me. But also I know that I have that ability to turn away and protect myself. All right, which will give me more preparation to hit the ball and give me more confidence to hit the ball in the box. All right, so the first thing with hitting is to teach them how to turn away from the ball and also practice with the soft balls of throwing inside pitches, having them turn away, but also mixing in some strikes where they can actually swing and going back and forth like that. All right, the next thing we're going to do is for fielding, right? So fielding, when they field a ground ball, a lot of kids, as they get older, the kids are like hitting the ball a little harder, and maybe they're kind of bailing out, right? Because they're afraid of getting hit. All right, I would say it's the same thing where you have to start small, right? You have to start small. I think that the fielding aspect, and the third one we're going to go in catching a fly ball, the fielding aspect is all about confidence. Confidence in their skills, in their skill set, that they can field the ball. I think that a lot of kids, when they bail out like this or they get out of the way of the ball, that's because they don't have confidence in their skills where they feel like they can field the ball, right? So I would just start small, maybe just get them in a fielding position and throw some short hops, right? Soft balls, so maybe like start with wiffle balls or even like the soft squishy baseballs, right? Just throw little short hops, right? So short hop, short hop, short hop, and specifically short hops, because if you throw short hops, that's basically, they might not field it and it might go up on their chest, right? So that just kind of prepares them for, I need to field it off my chest. I need to stay in front of it because when I do field it off my chest, it's still in front of me and I'm still able to make a play on the ball. All right, so start with like short hops, and I'm talking like really close, maybe get on one knee and just like kind of throw short hops where it's kind of hard for them to field it, but they're still staying in front of the ball. And then after that, that will give them the confidence of, okay, now I know how to field these bad hops, right? Because every baseball field, there's rocks and things, there's bad hops that happen. They know how to field and they have experience fielding those bad hops. And then all you do is you just gradually get further away, gradually grow. So you can go from, this distance to kind of scoot back a little bit, short hop, another short hop, maybe a double short hop, right? And then after that, you start getting a little hit, right? So start getting a little hit, and just gradually grow from there. But the whole idea of that process is just instilling and increasing their confidence that they can field the ball and they know how to field a bad hop. I feel that a lot of coaches or a lot of players, they field like perfect ground balls where the coaches are just rolling them like this. There's no bad hops and they know how to field it, which is great. That is needed, but that's not the situation in baseball all the time. There will be times when you have bad hops, when you have a very hard hit that is bouncing towards you, right? So we need to incorporate that into practice to give these kids more confidence. I think that confidence in their own skill set is one of the biggest reasons that they bail out, because they see a ball coming hard and they're like, whoa, I've never seen this before. I need to get out of the way. And then I'll just stick out my glove just to, give myself a miracle chance that I'll catch it, right? We don't want that to happen, right? So we just start small with those little short hops, using soft balls, just like bad hops, taking it off the body. Oh, this kind of feels good. Like now I know how to do that. And then you just slowly increase your distance and increase like kind kind of the speed, adding in the hits, adding in some harder balls like the density balls. You can start with wiffle balls and then the soft baseballs and then something else, right? And then generally work up to the real baseballs where you're hitting the ground balls and you're just kind of hitting bad hops, and they have more confidence in fielding the ball. All right, so the fielding comes down to confidence. Start small with the short hops, with the soft balls, and just gradually work yourself out. So now we're going to talk about catching fly balls, and it's really the same thing as the fielding. It's the confidence that they don't know how to catch the ball, right? When they see a ball go way up in the air, they're like, oh, I've never seen that before. That's super high. And then they think to themselves, oh, that's probably going to come down at a very high speed. Let me just stick my glove out, and I don't want to get hit by the ball. That is all confidence in their skill set because they believe that they can't catch the ball. So I think it's super simple. It's just you start small with little fly balls, catch, okay, catch. And then you just slowly increase the height of your pop-ups where you grow to the full hit, or maybe you're using a pitching machine, you put it in and it skyrockets into the sky. And they have like repeatedly caught balls at different heights where they, in the game, they see a pop-up and they're like, oh, I have seen that before and I know that I can catch it because I've caught it before. So therefore they have confidence that they can catch it. I think it's just building their skill set and confidence in being able to catch the ball and believing that they can catch the ball, because as I said with the fielding and bailing out, catching the ball, I feel like it's just confidence in their skill set that they can't catch it. They see a ball way up in the air, they're like, whoa, that's really high. I don't know if I can catch that. I don't want to get hit, so I'm going to bail out like this and just hope that I catch it. But if I don't, then it's going to hit the floor. We want that confidence built in them where they see a pop up and they're like, oh, that's an out because I know that I can catch it and I've caught it before. That's going to be an out. So hopefully you enjoyed. Look down in the description. I have a free parent starter pack and a free coaching starter pack. Feel free to grab it if you like, if you think it would help, if you need some help with your practice plans or parent ideas or anything to help out your players, all right? And like I said, hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully this kind of gives you some strategies or tools that you can use for anybody or any of your players who are afraid of the ball, whether they're hitting, fielding, or catching a fly ball. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed. Remember, I'm Coach Hart. This is Building Better Baseball, and I will see you in another video real soon.